Well, finally, we got the news as to when GoPro is releasing their new cameras. And they're not even that far away, with 2 of these new cameras releasing on May 28th with a pre-order date of May 21st. All this comes right before the DJI Pocket 4 release in just 2 days. This is now the time I expect to see a lot of companies releasing their products in order to have people possibly swayed away from the Pocket 4. They're calling this first set of cameras that are going to be released Mission 1. And these Mission 1 cameras will not actually be within the GoPro Hero line. This is now the very first time GoPro is not releasing a camera labeled Hero in 22 years. Now, with GoPro pivoting away from action cameras, going into more of a vlogging space and also cinema territory. Now there's 3 cameras that are being released, with only one being released Q3 of this year. All these cameras will finally have that 1-inch sensor that people have been begging for in the comments for so long, just like we see in the Pocket 4 and Pocket 3 cameras. This is going to be a 50 megapixel device, so it'll be good for photos, but apparently they're using a fused pixel mode that apparently is supposed to be better for video, so hopefully we still get some decent low light performance with it. They're claiming now up to 14 stops of dynamic range, which is really good for something that is quite small. Burst capture up to 60 frames per second, and this will also include raw photo support for those 50 megapixel files. Now, looking over at the Mission Pro, the more premium one that's releasing next month, this is going to allow 8K 60, which is insane in a body that small. And then moving over to 4K, it will go to 240. This will allow 1080p up to 480 and 1440 to 480p non-burst. Now up to 8K 30 and also 4K 120 frames. This will also allow open gate video, and this will use a full 4x3 sensor. I can already tell Casey from Camera Conspiracies is going to possibly have found his perfect camera that he's been looking for all this time, especially when we talk about the one that releases in Q3. Now the Mission 1 that's also releasing next month, which is the more budget option, just has actually a lower frame rate ceiling compared to the Mission Pro that has pretty impressive high frame rate specs. The maximum specs for that Mission 1 are 8K 30, 4K 120, and 1080p at 240 frames, which is actually pretty good as well. But I think this is a camera that I'm likely going to buy instead of the Pro version. Personally, I think this is a really good option for GoPro, having the high-speed frame rate nerds kind of buying their own separate camera, but I really wonder what the difference in sales are going to be between both of these models. One of the things that has really plagued GoPro is the thermal management. If you look at GoPro and overheat, those 2 words are sort of synonymous with one another. Now they've drawn up some numbers that were probably recorded in an ideal circumstance sort of scenario, but they're saying that this will go for 5+ hours at 1080p and 3+ hours at 4K 30 frames. Now they're claiming no thermal shutdowns whatsoever, even without any sort of fan system, but we're really going to have to see, especially with a lot of people that are in really warm climates. Now they're using a new Enduro 2 battery in this, and this is actually backwards compatible with the one that we saw on the GoPro 13, so that's cool. There will be a shorter runtime though on that GoPro 13 battery, and the new one has 2,150 mAh total power in it. GoPro's also releasing a Volta 2 grip, and this adds up to 9 hours at 4K 30, so you're going to likely be able to shoot all day and then some. Now GoPro is really crediting these advancements to their new GP3 processor. This has a 5 nanometer design, and this is apparently what is bringing the juice to be able to run this whole system. Of course, they have AI neural processing. What is a new camera without the words AI slapped on the box to claim that this helps with low light processing? We'll have to see how well it does with that. They also say that they're including a new advanced encoder, so you'll be able to sort of minimize your file size, and that's going to be pretty important when you're recording that open gate 8K video. Now going on to the 3rd camera that's about to be released, the Mission 1 PRO ILS, and this is a really interesting device because it will actually have interchangeable lens system. And now, what lens are they using, might you ask? Of course, they're using Micro Four Thirds, and this is one of my favorite mounts. I really love the Micro Four Thirds mount. I started off on an Olympus Micro Four Thirds camera, and I just absolutely love this system based on how small the lenses are, how cheap they are. The quality you can get with some of these is just incredible. This DJI one is a 15 1.7 and is actually a copy of the Leica one, but you can get this for around 200 Canadian dollars for 1.7 lens. That is just absolutely incredible. So I'm really excited to see exactly how well these GoPro cameras work with these lenses. And I hope it was pretty obvious to you that they were including this interchangeable lens system when we saw the photos of the moon, which action camera at around 14 millimeters would be able to shoot the moon without a big honking lens attached to it. And I really hope now with GoPro building a camera that is designed around this mount that we start to see a lot of third-party lens manufacturers start to develop these Micro Four Thirds lenses for this system. Now with DJI and Insta360 making all these sorts of bundles, you have lens kits like this. There shouldn't be any surprise they're going to be releasing a whole host of different grips for their system, like this Freewell one that I have here. Now these systems are actually going to include different bundles, whether or not that will include lenses like this macro lens or possibly anamorphic lenses or extra wide angle attachment lenses is something we're going to have to find out later. Now GoPro has really excelled with the colors in their cameras, despite maybe not being up to par with a few other things. Their colors really stand out as being one of the best in the industry. Now when you're wanting to record log footage, this will have a GP log 2 because we'll have 10-bit color and HLG HDR footage. Now looking at the overall bitrate of this device, it's going to allow 240 megabytes per second, and then with the GoPro Labs app, it will allow 300 megabytes per second bitrate, which is actually pretty decent and quite high. This will also include timecode if you're wanting to sync multiple cameras together. That can be really useful. There's also going to be 13 different scene modes, whether you're doing diving or vlogging. And I think that can be particularly useful for people that don't necessarily geek out on cameras as much as you or I do. Now, audio is something that small cameras typically aren't the best with, but a lot of companies have been really improving their audio as of recently, especially Insta360 with their Ace Pro 2. I found that that camera had actually exceptional audio. Now, this one will have 4 built-in speakers that are said to help with wind and noise reduction. Now, this GoPro camera will also include 32-bit float audio, and they're really swinging for the fences with this one. You can tell that they're doing everything they can in order to have this be a success. Now, 32-bit audio actually is really beneficial because it actually prevents the digital clipping that you would otherwise have in really loud scenes, and actually does this by massively increasing the dynamic range of your audio files. Now, the next thing they're mentioning is Bluetooth 5.3, and this is supposed to be paired with their newest microphone system that GoPro is releasing. They're finally getting into the microphone game. These are apparently 10-gram magnetic transmitters. This will have 24-bit and 48 hertz. 150 meters range and 6.5 hours of battery life with a case in order to charge on the go. This will also include a safety track for a backup in case you have any fails with that main track. One thing to note is that it is still only 24-bit audio compared to the 32-bit float that we see in different microphones from companies like DJI. Now, looking over at the design changes, this is said to be the widest in the category at 159 degrees. And while having a wide angle lens at times is nice to have, I still find it to be pretty uninspiring of a focal length. Now, the OLED rear display is actually going to be a 14% increase compared to the previous GoPro. And they say that the buttons will be taller and more raised. So if you're using gloves, as being a Canadian, this is for us, it'll be easier to press those buttons. You're looking at the photos and videos of this, it actually includes a lens hood, and that is just incredible. This next upgrade is going to particularly excite the divers out there with the cameras straight out of the box are going to be able to go to 66 feet, and they're also going to have a waterproof housing that goes up to 196 feet underwater, which is pretty incredible. Now they claim the ILS is weatherproof, but they say not to use it without a cage, but that really is going to be exciting if you can use a cage with those Micro Four Thirds lenses underwater. Although I don't know exactly how you're going to be focusing those lenses because they're manual focus only. So there's not going to be any sort of autofocus. Now, while on the topic of Micro Four Thirds lenses, let's talk about the ILS and how it will use these lenses. GoPro is known for having really great electronic stabilization, and in their camera they will be using something called Hypersmooth, and this will work for rectilinear prime lenses. I think we should expect some really great electronic stabilization, but I don't think it's going to compete with something like a Lumix camera. Now, as mentioned before, there's no autofocus when using these Micro Four Thirds lenses, and this is really sort of a shame. With only manual focus, I think this is going to disappoint a lot of vloggers that aren't behind the camera. Being behind the camera, manual focusing is not all that difficult, especially if there's good focus peaking and you're able to punch in on the image in order to zoom in to see if your focus is accurate enough. But when you're in front of the camera, that's when a lot of people really struggle with manual focus, unless you're using something like an ultra wide lens, when it will be quite a bit easier than using something like, say, a 35mm. Now, with a 2.7 times crop factor, you're really going to need to buy some freaky lenses in order to get yourself in the frame when using that, if you want that ultra wide perspective. I would look towards Laowa if you're wanting an ultra wide to pair with the ILS camera. It's pretty obvious with this specific release that they're really trying to get in their own lane away from DJI that is not able to compete at the current moment, although there's been talks that they may release a camera over the next while, but we'll have to see. Now let's look at some accessories that you'll be able to buy with these devices. First off, the MediaMod, and this is something that's been available in the GoPro Hero series for quite some time. This will have 8 mic pickup patterns, 3.5mm ports, micro HDMI up to 4K 30, timecode line-in, and also headphone monitoring. You can tell they're really trying to appeal to cinematographers with those specs. Now looking over at the grip that they're going to have, it's also going to have something similar to this Freewell one with the shutter press on it, the hand grip for overall ergonomics, and it's going to increase the durability of your system and make the ease of use just that much better. Looking over at the ND filters that they're going to be including, this is just going to be the basic 8, 16, 32 and 64 ND filters, and they claim this will have an auto detect shutter adjustment. Now they're introducing a light mod 2. This is said to have 200 lumens and 33% more battery than the previous one. Also a dual battery charger for that Enduro 2 battery that was just released with a bit more capacity than the previous. Vertical mount adapter, and we can see these accessories coming out between May up to that Q3 release of that ILS camera. Now going over to GoPro Labs, they're advertising that this is going to include around 1,000 options for tweaking your videos and getting them ready to send off into the world. And this is said to be ready to be released for the early Mission 1 series of releases. Well, looking at these 3 cameras, what are your guys' thoughts on it? Are you interested in either of these cameras? I gotta say, I'm a little surprised that they're releasing 2 different base models, one with higher frame rate and one without. I certainly didn't expect that they would do that, and I think this is a really neat idea in order to lower the price for people that aren't the frame rate junkies. Well, that is all, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this rushed video. I started making this video within 30 minutes or so of waking up when I found the news this morning, so sorry if it seemed a little bit rushed, but this is what we got to do when we aren't briefed on these releases. Anyways, thank you. Take care, everyone. I will see you all shortly with a few videos, first of which being some of the Pocket 4 release content over the next little while. So stay tuned. Bye.